Здравствуйте, дорогие ребята! Дистанционная образовательная программа, по которой мы начинаем занятия, это замечательная возможность не только попрактиковаться в восприятии английской речи, но и узнать много интересного. Программа «Обо всем на английском» Центра «Радость» познакомит вас с интересными фактами из истории мировой культуры. Ваш английский лексикон будет расширяться под звуки классической музыки и в знакомстве с шедеврами мирового искусства. Будет хорошо, если в ходе занятия вы начнете повторять как знакомые, так и новые для вас слова, фразы и выражения. Занятия составлены так, что для этого у вас будут все возможности. И еще несколько слов о правилах участия в проекте. 2 раза в месяц по воскресеньям вы будете получать ссылку на новое видеозанятие, которое можно смотреть в любое удобное время. Главное, во время просмотра не забывайте регистрироваться в анкете Google формы, ссылка на которую находится в описании ролика. Видеозанятия разделены на циклы. После просмотра каждого цикла из 4-5 занятий у вас появляется возможность потренироваться в прохождении тестирования на английском языке, повторить знание новых слов, терминов, выражений, ответить на вопросы на английском языке. Тестирование можно проходить трижды для достижения наилучшего результата. Пройдя тесты всех 4 модулей программы, вы получите итоговый сертификат A Fencer of Beauty, что значит «ценитель прекрасного». Итак, прямо сейчас найдите в описании видеоролика, который смотрите, ссылку на анкету Google формы. Кликните по ней и заполните ячейки. А сейчас начнем наше путешествие в мир английского языка. So, dear friends, an exciting journey into the world of art and creativity is waiting for you. Auntie OWL stories. The road to the northern fairy tale. Hello, dear friends. And again, I'm with you, Auntie OWL. I live in the world many years, and most of all, I like to tell musical stories. The tale begins from the beginning, does not interrupt in the middle, reads to the end. And last lesson, we met with the music of a wonderful composer. Listen to a fragment of this music. Attention! Correct answer. Ludwig van Beethoven. Yes, of course, the music of Ludwig van Beethoven sounds. And today we will go to another time, to another era, to another country. Here, mysterious and magical music is calling us. And of course, our question: what is the character of this music? Music vocabulary. Calm, smooth, slow, thoughtful, gentle, sad, funny, playful, fast, cheerful, naughty, graceful, angry. Yes, of course. There are two musical images in this play. Gentle, lyrical music, replaced by disturbing and mysterious, full of rushly movement. Some facts about the composer. One of the most famous Norwegian composers, a descendant of Scottish merchants who moved to Scandinavia at the end of the 18th century. There were talented musicians in the composer's family. The composer's grandfather played in the orchestra of the city of Bergen, and his mother was a talented pianist. At the age of 4, the future composer already knew how to play the piano. At the age of 12, he wrote his first piece of music. All his life, the composer never parted with his talisman, a small clay figurine in the shape of a frog. The composer preferred to compose music in solitude. For this, he even bought a plot of land in the forest, built himself a small house there, which he called Troll Hill. This music was written by the wonderful Norwegian composer Edvard Grieg. In his works, he managed to convey the mystery of Swedish and Norwegian fairy tales, where a gnome hides behind every stone and a fabulous creature can crawl out of any hole. And this is not surprising, because the whole nature of northern country is fabulous and mysterious. Composer Edvard Grieg was born in Bergen, Norway. It is the rainiest city in Europe. A warm sea current comes close to the shores. The wind carries moisture from the sea, and the mountains that surrounded the Bergen Bay prevent it from going into the interior of the country. So it rains after rains. The sun rarely shines here, but on this northern land gardens bloom, and Bergen resembles the colorful southern port cities. How beautiful Bergen is in the sun! Grieg's mother was the best pianist in Bergen. As a child, Grieg was a dreamer and loved to tell amazing stories to his loved ones. And Edvard considered his mother a fairy. After all, only a fairy can play the piano. We read the diaries of little Grieg. Why not remember that mysterious, inexplicable joy that gripped me when, stretching out my hands to the piano, I pulled out, oh no, not a melody, perhaps it was harmony. First the third, then the thread, then the chord. When it sounded, my delight knew no bounds. I was then about 5 years old. As is often the case in musical families, Edward's first teacher was his mother.
grandmother, a talented boy and strict, attentive teacher, planned classes, exercises, and scales, playing scales and arpeggios. Grieg imagined a platoon of soldiers marching. Little Edward writes down naive and still quite simple melodies. But he sees on paper not only musical signs. A huge world from day to day opens up before him. The sound of the waves, the free air of the sea penetrates deep into his child's soul and remain with him forever. Here it is, the fabulous northern country of Norway. The song Sørvik by composer Edvard Grieg sounded. Yes, children, Norwegian trolls are not distinguished by their kind disposition or desire to help people. According to the legend, they got the Viking gold. Trolls, creatures with a disgusting appearance, strange creatures, tried to be invisible and at the same time interfered with people. They made avalanches, mountain falls, and these are the trolls Edvard Grieg portrayed in his music. Trolls are wary of people. Once the trolls met a man. There was a guy in the village. He was lazy. He didn't want to work. He loved to laugh at the people who lived in the village. His name was Per Gynt. This is how the play by the Norwegian playwright Henrik Ibsen begins. Per grew up as a terrible dreamer because his mother, when he was little, loved to tell him fairy tales. Per grew up and learned to invent stories himself. Once, Per Gynt went hunting and disappeared from home for a month. He appeared in a torn jacket, no gun, no loot. It turns out that Per came to visit the Dovre King. Oh, what a gloomy place this is! The cave of the Mountain King. The spirits of darkness live here. All the mysterious forces of the mountains live in its depths. Here they begin their angry march. They start from afar, from the darkness of the underworld, like an avalanche moving in high mountains. Louder, louder is the sound of hundreds of feet. Here, the tops tremble. Per Gynt enjoyed traveling. He left for many years, and Per Gynt's mother and beloved Solveig stayed to wait for Per in a small hut. Like the picture in front of you, these are the scenery which was painted by the famous artist Nikolai Rerich. The song of Solveig sounds. It must be said that the suite Per Gynt, written by Edvard Grieg, has become a masterpiece of world musical culture. I'm sure you will come back to this music more than once as time went. Edward Grieg was at the height of his musical fame, but in order to compose music, he needed peace and solitude, and he spent a lot of time at his estate, which he called Troll Hill, with his wife Nina Hagerup, life's companion. The composer's house is like a woodcutter's dwelling. It was decorated only with a piano, and if a person had imagination, then he could hear magical things among these white walls. From the roar of the northern ocean that rolled waves of haze, and wind of the song of a girl taking a rag doll, the grand piano could sing about anything, about the impulse of the human spirit to the great, and about love. Once Edward Grieg met in the forest a little girl with two pigtails, the daughter of a forester. She collected fir cones in a basket. "What is your name, girl?" asked Grieg. "Dagny," the girl answered in a low voice. She answered in a low voice not out of fear, but out of embarrassment. She could not be scared because Grieg's eyes were laughing. "What a problem," said Grieg. "I have nothing to give you." "Listen, Dagny," said Grieg, "I'll give you one interesting thing. Not now, but in 10 years. Dagny even threw up her hands. "Oh, how long?" "You see, I still have to do it. And what is it? You will find out later. I'll write the music," Grieg decided, "and on the title page I will print Dagny, the forester's daughter." On the day of her 18th birthday, the girl got to the concert, and she heard how it was announced that now, in honor of her 18th birthday, music written especially for her will be performed. anything. A storm roared inside her. Then she finally heard the shepherd's horn singing, and the strings of the orchestra answered to him with hundreds of voices. The melody grew, rose, ragged like the wind, swept over the tops of the trees, hitting in the face with cool splashes. Yes, it was her forest, her homeland, her mountains, sound of sea. Dagny heard this song in her mountains. It was he, the gray-haired man, who helped her carry the basket to the house. It was Edward Grieg. History has not saved what kind of play Edward Grieg wrote for Dagny, but maybe this music sounded. The composer wrote symphony, symphonic dances on Norwegian themes, Suite Per Gynt, concert for piano and orchestra, many pieces for piano, about 150 masterpieces of vocal music. Dear friends, our lesson with you is coming to an end. Today we have traveled into a northern fairy tale. We met with the work of the Norwegian composer Edvard Grieg. We listened to fragments of his works. Maybe after hearing this wonderful music, you wanted to pick up pencils and paints and draw what you heard in this music. Send your work to the exhibition I Want to See Music. And now, see you soon. Your Auntie OWL.